A significant part of the knowledge that I gained in life I got from my father. He delivered meat for a packing company up in Muncie, and I would hear him get up in the mornings at about 3 o'clock and walk to the packing plant. He was such a loving man. My mom, I think, really wanted me to be a musician. I took about 8 years of piano lessons, but my dad knew when I was a teenager I had been bitten by a bug, and that bug was television news. I graduated at Ball State in 1974. While I was in school, I had a professor who was probably someone I should have listened to more. He said, "Don't work too hard outside of these hallowed halls." I got called by a news director in Evansville. His name was Larry Pond, and he was the news director at WFIE. When I came down here, I took the job because it was a full-time job.
From Channel 14 News, this is Newslands, the Evening Report. A look at today's news, weather, and sports.
And good evening, everybody. A very important occasion today for southern Indiana. The final stretch of Interstate Highway 64 was open to traffic today. Brad, you were there. What was it like?
And David, we're talking about a 29-mile stretch of Interstate 64 between Dale and Sulphur, Indiana. This is the last stretch to open, and today highway officials were telling us that we were pretty lucky because the road had opened early.
Made more than my fair share of mistakes, but you learn by doing. And the 2.5 years I spent there on Mount Auburn Road, it was a learning experience, and I knew a lot of good people there. At that night, I was broadcasting with Mike Blake. I was in my mid-20s. I thought, this can't be happening in Evansville. The very next morning, I was right there up on Ward Road on a bluff overlooking the site of the DC-3. And I learned that you have to live every day and appreciate life. And I was thinking about those young players, those kids in many ways, who were no longer going to be with us. It brought our community together, and in the worst of times, we were going to make it through. Shortly after that, I got the call from the general manager at Channel 25 at the time, Ernie Madden. And he invited me to lunch. He offered me the weeknight job, and fortunately it worked out for me.
Have you heard Byrd?
In another News Center 25 exclusive, victims
We're live, and the scene is very intense. Police stormed.
If you haven't heard Byrd, you don't know the news. News Center 25 anchors aren't hosts, they're award-winning reporters. Shannon Hurd and Brad Byrd dig deeper.
News Center 25 is committed to bringing you the news firsthand.
So we go out and get it.
Have you heard Byrd? They're coming on for you at 5, 6, and 10 on News Center 25.
I don't know that I ever saw Brad afraid of anything. I did see Brad making sure we were getting facts right. If there was a tragedy, especially a tragedy involving deaths, what's the number? What can we accurately report?
Fire at a near downtown home. Neighbors tonight tell us they heard something right before it started.
He understands that there are people in our community who are hurting.
Well, now we spoke with Holly's House in Evansville today, a safe haven for sexual abuse victims, to get some insight into a story like this. We wanted to know how an alleged crime as serious as this went unreported for so long.
His level of anchoring, his level of reporting also has a level of empathy, and people can relate to that. That's really, really important. Brad takes that part of his job very, very seriously.
I was ready mentally and physically to be executed.
This is the story of crime and punishment. If our answer to crime as a society has an end, it's here at Michigan City in the Indiana State Prison.
We probably are housing offenders charged with between 800 and 850 charges of murder.
Night in and night out, no matter what time he's anchoring, what he's delivering is spot on. It's accurate, it's done in the most professional, empathetic way, and viewers trust him. Viewers trust him, and that's the secret sauce of television broadcasting, making sure viewers trust who's on the news.
What appears to be a two-story home, the upper floor is gone. It's gutted. Oh my, that house is in, you're seeing what I'm seeing, Mark. Some of these homes are just, I mean, they're gone.
He has a level of empathy and a heart that's hard to describe unless you know him. Brad's role with the telethon really comes from the bottom of his heart. Brad knows every child and adult representative intimately. He knows their story. He knows that telling their story in a really delicate way is important. He knows that if he tells those stories in the right way, it encourages people to donate money. And those donations help the people whose stories he's telling.
The thing about Easterseals, the therapists and the dedication and the hard work of the people who come through those doors every day. What a story to share.
When I was on the telethon, I know there's many other reps before me and after me that have felt like Brad Byrd understands me. I served as the local rep here in Evansville for Easterseals. I served as the national ambassador. There is no person on this continent that better represent the values and what it means to be affiliated with Easterseals. Brad Byrd is Easterseals. I worked an internship at Eyewitness News early on in my college career. And I don't know if it was our time that we spent, together as on the telethons or just because of the person he is. But I can tell you, just working for, a summer in the same newsroom as a local icon, someone who is king of his craft, and someone that I knew understood the disability community. It was an experience that I'll never forget. Brad's just the man. He's just the man.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Pete.
I was lucky to meet my future wife, TJ, at an Easterseals Telethon. And I remember we talked, and she came up to me and straightened my tie before I went on the air. I wonder where I would be right now had it not been for a young woman named TJ. She has shown me what's possible. She has watched my back, and there are so many things that she does every day. She's not my wife. I'm honored to be her husband, and I'm lucky to come home to her every day.